So today we're here with Chris Yoergler, and Chris is just a great guy and just a phenomenal practitioner. He appears on the Seven Rise channel um, frequently, and I just been a huge fan of this guy. Obviously, been a huge fan of Seven, but yeah, just this guy's telekinesis just so phenomenal. I've just been a big fan of this guy. So, Chris, could you briefly explain how you got started in telekinesis and how your spiritual journey began?
I found out very early on that I was very different. And as a kid, I'd be playing, realize I could move something with my mind and just attempt to do it. So I think it started off very early for me. Growing up, I kind of realized I was very different at a very early age. I'd say 9, 10 years old, and been going from there.
As far as training goes, do you do a lot of meditation? Do you do like yoga or like Tai Chi or something like that?
I would say my training encompasses life, where meditation, the way you treat people, the sense of consciousness of being one with everyone, which ultimately brings you inward, which will make you realize that training just doesn't start with this or start with that. Training is being a great person all around. So my training is pretty much every day. Meditation, the way I view the world. You know, there's lots. That's something I could elaborate on very much.
Right. Okay. So, like, I saw one video that you made on one of your YouTube videos where you were talking about spending a lot of time with nature. Do you spend a lot of time in nature?
Yes, nature is key when it comes to this. I spend most of my time there. I meditate there almost daily.
Wow.
And just kind of go into, the matrix, if you will, and just be still. And when you're still, everything comes to you. The world is so hectic and so chaotic all the time. Our minds don't ever slow down. The energy that's in there is real, and it does a lot of benefits for anybody who wants to learn anything like that.
Awesome. Okay. So, Chris, I noticed that you do a lot of stuff with like straws or like cans and stuff like that. You're a real true master at like rolling objects and stuff like that. Um, like I primarily use like a side wheel and stuff like that. What made you train with like cans and like straws and rollable objects rather than as opposed to side wheels?
I started off with a saw wheel, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, started off. I still do it. I think it's a very good practice. What got me to step out of my comfort zone with the side wheel was the concept alone that everything is energy, right? So, and not to mention that Seven and I pretty much collaborated. We have the same technique almost. But you got to view it like this. Everything's energy. So if you were to take a simple object and you were to throw your hand around like this, people would say it's wind. It's not wind. Wind is in the air. The air is not empty. There is energy around all of us constantly. Doing this made me realize that it's making a connection. So that's where I got my first breakthrough, was straws and cans. Moving that energy through me, looping that energy. I'm sure you heard that talked about.
Right. Seven always preaches that. Yeah.
Yes. Very, very important. You think about anything, visualization. That's the key right there. That's pretty much it. So I've learned to visualize energy, which has brought me to the cans, brought me to the straws. There's a lot of information when it comes to that. But don't limit yourself with that. Go outside. That's what I do a lot of the times too, and work with nature.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So how did your friendship with Seven begin?
Interesting story. I was alone. I've always been alone in my TK journey.
Right.
And I'd like to say Seven and I were probably just destined to meet. One day I went on YouTube, searching out and seeking out somebody to talk to about telekinesis.
Right.
I found his videos. I sought him out, looked him up, went on Facebook, Messenger, asked him, can we talk about telekinesis? And we've known each other for, I don't know, I think it's like 3 or 4 years now, something like that.
Wow. Okay.
And
Okay.
we're very similar. We just understand each other, and we just hit it off, and we bounce back and forth. And
Wow.
and it's been that long now. So it was just a immediate connection. So
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, you guys definitely have a great camaraderie. Have you guys actually met in person or?
No, we have not met in
Wow.
person. No,
Wow. Okay. Okay. Right. Right. That's beautiful. Yeah. No, I'm gonna be interviewing like Morbius Scion later today. But
nice.
yeah, no, it's just beautiful to see like a trio that you guys have between Morbius and you, and because Morbius has a very similar, it seems like as the skill set that he uses with telekinesis, as well as you and Seven, and yeah, it's just beautiful to see like a trio, like because with my teachers, I mean, and Reza, we got a trio going as well. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome.
So,
There's
really,
also, if I can mention, my current girlfriend is
Mhm.
actually part of our group too, and any of the videos, she would be somebody who is on the same playing field as us. Any videos you saw on Seven's page, if you saw a female on there, that is her as well. So she is part of it too, actually. So there's a lot of people that we have connected with over time that have created this huge group of people, which is just amazing.
What is your ultimate goal with telekinesis? What do you want to ultimately be able to do? Do you want to be able to, like levitate yourself or something like that, or levitate objects, perhaps?
My ultimate goal is definitely completely entering the heart space entirely, to where I know that I view this world as nothing but energy, and understanding that will allow me to, yes, levitate at one point, be able to levitate objects, fly even. Some of that stuff sounds so crazy, but when you look at it as simple as this, if an object can be moved and people tell you that that's not real, and it's real, what else is real? So there are people that fly. It does exist. It's just very seldom. It's very far out there. But that, I think, would be my ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, can you perform any other metaphysical abilities besides telekinesis? Like, can you do remote viewing or something like that, or can you astral project?
Yes. I just don't do that a lot. I do a lot of videos with telekinesis, but I definitely telepathy, clairvoyance, clairsentient, clairaudient, remote viewing. What else? Bilocation, like bilocate, be able to be in one place and another at the same time. Astral
Really?
project.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
That's really
cool. It goes much deeper, because it's not something I chose. It's just that's who I am,
Right.
So I've always been that way.
Awesome. Okay. Chris, what is the heaviest object that you've ever been able to move?
The heaviest object I've ever been able to move, I would say, would be either a basketball, or a door.
Oh, a door like Seven did. Wow. Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know you did that too. That's incredible.
What's crazy about that stuff is you're dealing with such subtle energy. So when you're trying to, and this is like behind the scenes stuff, when you're trying to do this, the camera is on you. So the camera is your eyes, right? But also your eyes are the camera. So sometimes the camera doesn't catch what the actual cameras catch. There's been many times that I've done that, and
okay. So you've done such an impressive demo, but you weren't able to capture it and stuff like that, basically.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, I can kind of relate to that as well. Like I'm like, oh man, I just like did like a really
Yes.
cool demo. It's like I wish I had that on camera. Like I
Yeah.
know we as telekinetics like go through that a lot. So I
All
could
the
definitely.
time.
So Chris, in within the telekinesis community, there's other kinesis abilities that people practice. Like I do like aerokinesis and like atmokinesis and hydrokinesis and stuff like that. I haven't seen the Seven Rise channel, if you will, do a whole lot of elemental abilities. Do you practice like aerokinesis and stuff like that as well?
I do. We actually, Seven and I talked about it a few times. I do. He does it. I've succeeded with electrokinesis. I've succeeded with atmokinesis. I do that on occasion. I find it very hard to record atmokinesis, seeing as how you kind of have to have the phone viewing the cloud and your hand out. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it's not easy. Hydrokinesis, I know I can do very well. I don't do it often. I'm able to, uh, I guess, in a way, aerokinesis to talk to the wind in a certain way to where the wind understands, and again, back to energy. So I can make the wind do what it wants to at a certain level. So yeah, there's definitely elemental abilities in me for sure. I've seen the proof of it.
Wow. Okay. But you guys are more perhaps like to demonstrate the indoor stuff because obviously the indoor stuff is much harder. The outdoor stuff is a lot easier and stuff.
It
So
is, believe it or not, yeah, you'd think it would be easier. You're just in a quiet room. You know what I mean? You don't have the energy from nature. You don't, and a lot of people say go
right,
outside, but it's definitely a challenge for sure. It helps the
right,
mind for sure.
right. So Chris, what would be your advice to newbies that are embarking on this journey right now? Is there any tips that you can share for newbies that are coming up?
Yeah. I can tell you right now, as a young person in my mind, even though I am the age that I'm at, you're in a world now that is absolutely nothing but negative. It might seem like it has certain positive aspects, but if you look around you, it's negative, negative, negative. We have
Right,
we have all this entertainment, we have all this TV, we have all streaming services, video games, all this stuff. Now that's not bad, right? But when you are, when you're seduced by it, when you're constantly seeing it, that is the enemy of this kind of stuff. Why? It's damaging. You have to do the things that we do. You have to forget everything that you know and start from scratch. It seems dumb. You need to be really nice to people. And I mean really nice. You need to really genuinely care about somebody. You need to truly love people. You need to take care of your body. You need to take care of your mind, and you need to take care of your soul. All these things, it's really cool to move an object. All these things are that important to be able to get to that point. If you just try to move an object, it's not going to work. It doesn't happen that way. So be a good person. Don't, when you feel like you're nasty and you do it, just forgive the person, forgive yourself. You'll in time see that being that way, you now can communicate with an object. How do you communicate with an object if you can't communicate with another living person? So
right.
that would be my best advice. Start here. It's great to be able to move an object. Start with the person who you are, and the rest will follow. I promise.
That is beautiful. Yes, certainly. So Chris, um, what do you ultimately want the world to be? And you know, um, I know that you used. I mean, well, maybe you still do, but um, you know, I saw you do a video one time. I believe the ritual is called the blood. What was it called again? The
Over intent.
blood over intent or something like that. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that ritual essentially is a ritual to make the world a better place or something like that. Could you explain that a little bit and elaborate on that?
All right. So I will elaborate on that, and it's I think what it is, I've looked it up many times. To me, it felt right to do because I knew my intent. Originally, and I hate saying this because this is what originally it is, and I don't want to ever scare anybody because this is not what I stand for. So originally, apparently, it's a satanic ritual. I never knew that. Not something I'm into, not something I've ever looked into. But at the same time, you know, if you say that to somebody, they're like, oh, wow, okay, never mind. I don't want to look into that. But realistically, and not advocating anything evil, symbolism is symbolism to the person. So, you know, if you take a pentagram, for example, and it's upside down, people think it's satanic. Realistically, a cross upside down is what is satanic. So I never thought in those lines. So to me, blood over intent, reason I did that was because I felt a connection with this world, this place. This place is evil. This place is bad. We all know this. And it's just me pretty much saying that I'm alive, you know, I'm here. I'm not some dead robot. I'm alive and I want to make this world a better place. But it's all about your intent, because it's your blood over the intent, you know, and there are evil people out there. Evil people use it, I'm sure. I'm not one of them. So I think it's just it's a ritual of self-understanding, purpose. But it's not for everybody. You know, you don't need to do that to be able to do TK. You definitely don't. It does do something to you. It does help you in a way where it opens you, it wakes you up. A very different person from it in a good way. So, but again, like I said, I don't want to scare anybody. You know, it's not anything that I would suggest to do if you don't have good intent.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Well, Chris, you're such a great guy and you're such a phenomenal practitioner. Thank you so much for this interview. Definitely check out the Kinetic 7 YouTube channel and the Telekinetic Minds YouTube channel, as well as the Facebook group. We'll link in the description below. So thank you so much for this interview, Chris. And
yes, thank you.
Yeah.